Some moments in life arrive without warning, yet they seem to have waited for you all along. Right now, the atmosphere around you is shifting, heavy with a sense that something irreversible is underway. Old limits are dissolving, and the noise of past doubts can no longer drown out the quiet certainty growing inside. The signs are subtle but unmistakable, a quiet force gathering behind you, determined to make what's rightfully yours undeniable. There are those who mistook your silence for surrender, not realizing that you were gathering strength while they plotted in the shadows. The games played behind closed doors, the whispered plans and secret exchanges, none of it prepared them for the moment the tables would turn. There are lines in life that, once crossed, can never be erased. The universe has a way of evening out debts, especially when people overstep out of greed or envy. No shield can protect those who trespassed where they did not belong. All the shortcuts taken and risks ignored are now surfacing, demanding a price far greater than anyone expected. The energy moving through your life now leaves no room for negotiation. Every attempt to take what isn't theirs has triggered consequences that can't be bargained away, and the balance is being restored with a certainty that feels almost otherworldly. But through all this, notice how you have remained unbroken. The pressure was intense, the obstacles real, but something within kept you steady, kept you focused on a vision only you could see. This is the moment when the unseen preparation pays off, the moment when every trial you endured becomes the very reason you cannot be stopped. Your journey, full of setbacks and silent victories, is proof that not everything valuable is visible to those who only look for easy wins. What's unfolding is bigger than any one person's schemes or ambitions. A higher order is asserting itself, and your presence is the signal that change has arrived. Where others gambled and lost, you simply stayed true to your course. Now, those who once underestimated you are left wondering how everything slipped through their fingers, while you rise into the fullness of what was always meant for you. Ambition sometimes breeds a subtle envy, quietly fueling those who believe they can claim what belongs to another without ever walking the miles that shaped that strength. Some watch from afar, dissecting every hardship and every silent victory, mistaking endurance for weakness and thinking that what was forged by perseverance can be imitated by mere observation. Driven by longing and pride, they gamble everything on the hope of rewriting a story that was never theirs to tell. It is a strange kind of hunger that leads one to believe another's gifts can simply be acquired, as though spirit and purpose could be transferred like an object passed from hand to hand. The darkest irony is not in their boldness, but in the depths of their need. Pursuing what was never intended for them, they drift further from themselves, chasing shadows and losing their grip on reality with every step toward what cannot be possessed. The outcome is not confusion, but an unraveling, an internal collapse that words can scarcely contain. What they once intended for someone else now circles back, magnifying every fracture within. Their efforts to manipulate and take by force only serve to shatter the very foundation they hoped would support them, leaving nothing but the bitter taste of their own schemes. The path another walks is never up for grabs. It is built through nights of uncertainty, silent battles, and quiet resilience. Those who try to shortcut the journey find themselves facing storms they never prepared for. The endurance, the hope, the fire in the soul, none of it is available for the taking. Only the wait, the testing, the hardship transfers. Never the victory, never the reward. In the end, fate has a peculiar way of balancing the scales. Those who attempt to seize the end result without surviving the middle inherit the lessons, not the legacy. All the patience, all the hidden labor, all the moments that refine the spirit become theirs to carry. But the triumph, the transformation, the light that emerges from the struggle, these remain forever out of reach to anyone unwilling to pay the price. Some chase after treasures they've only glimpsed from a distance, not realizing that such brilliance is born from surviving storms they themselves have never weathered. Reaching for a position they never struggled to earn, they crave the rewards of a journey they refuse to walk. Now, reality is unveiling just how much endurance and humility it truly demands, and the weight of that realization is undoing them from the inside. Long before understanding what set life apart, the preparation began in secret. While laughter echoed around others, something inside was already learning to find meaning in solitude. Moments that felt like isolation or neglect became silent instructors, imparting lessons in patience and inner strength. Each overlooked invitation, each misunderstood word, quietly constructed a foundation designed to withstand trials far beyond the imagination of those who moved through life untouched. Nightfall has never been just the absence of daylight, It has served as a mentor, guiding through landscapes many would never dare explore. Where fear would have paralyzed most, resilience was cultivated in shadowed places. The spaces others deemed as exile turned into sanctuaries for growth, where understanding and wisdom matured in silence. Because of this, the gestures and offers now presented are not solutions but echoes of their inability to comprehend the path's true demands. The hardest experiences, those that once appeared to be punishments or burdens, now stand revealed as the very soil in which unshakable purpose was rooted. Those same conditions that could have shattered spirit instead became invitations to develop an authority that is unearned by shortcuts. Attempting to claim the outcome without living through the shaping process exposes a lack of comprehension so profound that no messenger or mediator could ever bridge the distance. What appears to be a sudden reversal is actually the result of years of hidden cultivation, invisible victories, and silent endurance. Attempts to negotiate or appeal at this stage only reveal an unfamiliarity with the depth of the journey taken. Every moment spent misunderstood or overlooked was a piece of the architecture that now holds everything steady, while those who tried to skip the struggle are confronted by what it truly costs to inhabit this level of destiny. Some seek to solve matters of spirit with tactics best suited for worldly disputes, not realizing they have triggered a sequence far beyond apology or clever persuasion. True resonance is never picked up through imitation or proximity. It is awakened by traveling through lessons meant only for those prepared to receive them. What is embodied at this level cannot be borrowed or transferred. Its root is deeper than any surface gesture or spoken word. Attempts to bypass the shaping journey reveal themselves in the chaos left behind. Like someone trying to master a complex craft by reading a summary instead of putting in the years of practice, the result is failure disguised as confidence. What was taken in haste was never the real essence, only fragments from a story whose meaning is revealed only after years of internal battle. Nature itself hints that transformation can't be skipped. When someone intercepts another's journey at the wrong stage, they inherit confusion without clarity. Bearing the remnants of a process they never understood, they are weighed down by burdens instead of rising with new abilities. It's no wonder those who truly know the path say nothing valuable can be grasped by force from the hands of the prepared. This alignment does not cling to the outer self. It is woven through every internal layer. No one can separate it from the one who has earned it. No trick or imitation can unlock its code. Those who move with shallow intent find themselves burdened not with treasure, but with the unhealed pieces others have already transcended. Schemes devised from limited understanding are always outmatched by realities that can't be glimpsed from a lower vantage. Through the eyes of the impatient, success seems effortless and unearned. Longing colors every view, distorting accomplishments into things that can be plucked without cost. Yet beneath every visible triumph lies a history of unseen battles, struggles that make the reward possible. There was never a desire to appreciate the depth of this journey, only a wish to leap ahead, skipping the parts that mattered most. Some are drawn to the reflection in the mirror, hoping to project greatness without doing the inner work that sustains it. Their chase for the spotlight was never about substance, only appearance. But now reality is making itself known in ways that leave no room for illusion. Every obstacle they tried to construct in your path is quietly finding its way back to their own doorstep, multiplied. Actions meant to restrict another's future now quietly encircle the one who set them in motion. This unfolding isn't vengeance, but a lesson in how life self-corrects. Instead of random retribution, there is an invisible system making sure that no attempt to disrupt another's rightful path goes unanswered. Those who tried to sidestep the process are now enrolled in the very lessons they tried to avoid. Life's biggest tests cannot be dodged. They must be passed by living through them. What's most challenging for those in the spiral is their insistence that more plotting will fix what's already unraveling. Their strategies for regaining control are only leading them further into a maze with no exit. The unfolding of this scenario is now powered by a force outside anyone's reach. In the middle of all this, something remarkable is quietly building within you. What was taken, or seemed lost, is returning in waves, stronger than before. Those dreams that seemed on pause are moving forward with unexpected speed, as if an unseen switch has been flipped. Everything is accelerating. What once felt like distant possibilities are suddenly on the verge of becoming the present. The kind of influence you've been quietly nurturing is stepping into the light, no longer delayed. The narrative is shifting in ways no one anticipated. The one-dimensional view others had of your role is dissolving as you step out of the shadows and into a strength that simply cannot be diminished. All the challenges and resistance you faced were never wasted. Every encounter that looked like a setback was building a new layer of resilience. The transformation is so complete that those same attacks now have no place in your world. The story is no longer about withstanding what comes against you, but about radiating a presence so profound that no threat can touch it. What once appeared as unwavering solidarity among those aligned against your rise is beginning to fragment beneath invisible pressures. The sense of unity that once fueled their resistance is unraveling, replaced by uncertainty and suspicion among their own. Conversations once full of shared purpose are now clouded with doubt, as participants reconsider their roles in a struggle that feels less righteous with each passing day. The slow unraveling has a focal point, someone whose unchecked ambition and stubborn self-importance initiated a cascade of problems. Allies are quietly taking stock, recognizing that the disruptions within their ranks stem from a single source. What was once overlooked is now impossible to ignore, as the consequences of one person's choices ripple through the group. Confidence in material leverage and personal connections is being proven hollow in the face of something much larger than any one person's influence. There is an emerging realization that some outcomes cannot be engineered by effort, negotiation, or force. The root of their troubles reaches beyond the physical, touching laws that operate on a level outside ordinary comprehension. Attempts to mimic legitimacy without the genuine article have come up short. False displays of power, borrowed from others or pieced together from empty gestures, cannot stand up to the scrutiny of a reality that prizes authenticity. Every move made in pretense is quietly nullified, with the underlying system recognizing the difference between earned strength and mere imitation. Plans rooted in misdirection dissolve, failing to achieve any lasting impact. Those who tried to manipulate or coerce sacred forces are learning that influence cannot be seized. It must be invited through humility. Every clandestine effort, every covert alliance, every scheme carried out in secret has been observed and countered by safeguards invisible to those who lack insight. Even trusted confidants, brought in to break through your boundaries, turn out to be aligned with a greater intelligence protecting you from harm. Beneath the surface, what looked like successful infiltration was actually a process of gathering knowledge for your benefit. Those who seemed to have access to your weaknesses were instead collecting evidence of every plot, returning that energy to its originators. This intricate orchestration demonstrates that genuine protection operates far beyond what can be seen, ensuring that every threat is neutralized before it has a chance to take root. Sometimes guardianship doesn't wear a badge or reveal itself through dramatic rescues. Protection can look like a stranger on the street, a casual acquaintance, or someone easily dismissed by those plotting in secret. The people who once mapped out intricate tactics to undermine your progress made a critical error. They misread your evolution, assuming the version they opposed still exists. What looked to them like fractures in your spirit were in fact blueprints for expansion. Every calculated slight, each undermining gesture, demanded a new threshold of insight and inner fortitude. The person you are today is shaped by trials they never accounted for. Tactics designed to weaken now fall short, mismatched to the stature built quietly behind the scenes. A veil is lifting, making once hidden realities impossible to overlook. Suddenly, a protective force that was easy to dismiss becomes visible even to skeptics. Simultaneously, the illusion that concealed the true motives of those who opposed you is unraveling in public view. What was once obscured by false appearances now stands clear for all to see. As clarity emerges, those who were once enchanted by hollow displays of power begin to perceive the truth beneath the surface. Admiration for the facade collapses, replaced by recognition of desperation and insecurity. This revelation reshapes every dynamic, causing previous allies of your opponents to reconsider their stance as the reality behind the stories comes into focus. Even those who previously harbored doubts are re-examining their judgments. Observing your resilience and wisdom, qualities long misunderstood as threats, they begin to understand them as the signs of someone set apart. What was once used to justify opposition is now viewed as the evidence of an uncommon calling, and opinions shift as reality replaces narrative. Patterns of sabotage from your past were not just unfortunate incidents. They were deliberate efforts to shift your course. The goal was to reroute your gifts away from their intended purpose. Yet what cannot be rewritten is the coding within, a design impervious to outside influence. Attempts to corrupt that path end up reinforcing it instead. What was meant to destabilize only deepened your discernment. Acts of betrayal became opportunities to cultivate forgiveness, while attempts to compromise your growth ended up reinforcing it. The very process of trying to lay claim to what was never theirs initiated a reversal. The challenges they inherited are not rewards, but tests, a package deal that comes only with genuine readiness. Grasping for power that was never theirs to claim, they instead found themselves submerged in the very struggles meant to forge resilience, not granted. Chasing after rewards they hadn't earned, they collided headlong with the hardships and lessons that had shaped your path. Wanting the destination but refusing the pilgrimage, they became lost in a landscape that demands a strength they never bothered to cultivate, unraveling under the pressure that once built you up. The trials that molded your character now overwhelm them, as they try to navigate circumstances meant for a completely different kind of spirit. Like an engine forced to run far beyond its design, their efforts collapse under the strain of tests they are not equipped to survive. While you were sustained by unseen grace, they wander through adversity without guidance or relief, experiencing confusion where you found clarity, and anguish where you built endurance. The ripple effect of their choices is unmistakable, spreading uncertainty among those once eager to follow their lead. The one who marshaled others into opposition now finds themselves alone, burdened by outcomes no strategy could have prevented. The exclusion they plotted against you now surrounds them, turning former supporters into silent witnesses of their unraveling. As loyalty dissolves, those once drawn to their authority begin to retreat, severing ties to protect their own futures. The same stage that elevated them now spotlights their struggle, with onlookers no longer in awe but quietly distancing themselves. Yet as their influence wanes, a quiet momentum builds in your favor. What was meant to hinder you now accelerates your progress. Every ounce of energy aimed at limiting you is transformed, fueling your rise in ways they never foresaw. Obstacles become opportunities, setbacks turn into leaps forward, and the very resistance you faced becomes the catalyst for rapid advancement. Divine order doesn't merely restore what was taken, it amplifies, compensating for lost time with exponential growth. Sometimes the very presence that should have encouraged your uniqueness became the force that tried to keep you contained. Where there could have been open arms, there was a silent expectation to shrink. One who might have been a safe harbor chose instead to stir the waters, bringing challenge where there should have been comfort, and shaping confusion where clarity was owed. Whenever a guardian becomes an adversary, the breach echoes through realities that demand restoration. When trust is traded for self-interest and protection is manipulated into control, the imbalance does not go unnoticed by the higher order of things. Those appointed to uplift, but who use their position to stifle, find that the scales they unbalanced are always recalibrated in the end. Those closest to the beginnings of your journey were witnesses to moments of rare brilliance, yet they chose to respond with rivalry instead of wonder. They mistook glimpses of greatness for threats to their own identity, never realizing they were meant to marvel, not compete. Having had the privilege of watching you emerge, they opted for criticism, unable to celebrate what was unfolding in plain sight. This relentless grasping for what comes naturally to another reveals a deep emptiness inside. Where you moved forward with an almost effortless alignment, they toiled to assemble a semblance of what was never meant for them. Each time you broke through a new ceiling, the void within them only deepened, making every attempt to mirror your light feel heavier and more desperate. Such comparisons inevitably leave scars on both sides. Their attempts to draw you into cycles of pain and uncertainty were not born from strength, but from an unwillingness to heal their own wounds. Hoping to tarnish your clarity by projecting their turmoil onto you, they failed to realize that true connection to purpose cannot be obscured by second-hand shadows. The effort to hide reality, to smother what cannot be erased, always falls short. Truth is persistent, even when it's disguised, muted, or buried beneath layers of distraction and control. The reason you continue is because the compass within has always pointed toward authenticity, despite the illusions around you. The design of this world may be faulty, but your ability to perceive its glitches is why you've outlasted every attempt to rewrite your story. What's kept hidden from the many is revealed to the few who are ready to see. Beyond the surface, training happens in silence, preparing you for battles most are never equipped to fight, equipping you with tools reserved for those who refuse to conform. It's a call to memory, a return to the original frequency you carry within, untouched by the pollution of outside interference. Attempts to dilute that essence never succeed. What is innately whole remains untouched, no matter the storms it passes through. Deep within, there's a kind of wisdom that separates gold from gravel, turning every hardship into a lesson that strengthens and refines the spirit. The intrigue others feel about your journey is laced with equal parts awe and bitterness. What they can't claim for themselves, they both desire and secretly resent, and this inner conflict leaves them torn between admiration and envy. Authenticity stands as a silent rebuke to the world of pretense. Where their identity is built on effort and posturing, yours radiates without calculation. What comes naturally to you feels manufactured in their hands. Proximity is a double-edged sword for them. Feeding off your spark only highlights their lack, and every encounter becomes a reminder of the distance between what's real and what's rehearsed. They circle your presence like satellites orbiting a planet, needing your gravity to feel significant, but scorched by every close approach. The roles and hierarchies they so carefully constructed are crumbling, unable to withstand the force of genuine self-ownership. Every rule they wrote is rewritten by your example, showing that authority is inherited by those who embody it, not by those who demand it. What's innate never seeks approval, and favor that's woven into the fabric of the soul cannot be dismantled by criticism. While their influence is rented, dependent on constant affirmation and collective agreement, yours is owned, secured by an invisible contract that cannot be voided. As their scaffolding collapses, your foundation only grows more unshakable, leaving no space for pretense to survive. As the illusion dissipates, truth pours into every gap it leaves behind. The narrative they controlled begins to unravel, replaced by undeniable evidence that disrupts old allegiances. People who once clung to their stories are awakening, realizing they were mere pawns in a game of distraction and denial. The impact radiates outward, shifting perspectives and shaking loose old alliances in its wake. No one in this equation remains unaffected. A reckoning is unfolding, requiring everyone involved to decide whether to continue feeding the lie or to embrace the clarity that's now impossible to ignore. The direction of future alliances will be forged in this moment, as every mask falls away and every participant is left to reconcile their own truth with what they now see. The growth you achieved under pressure has made you ready for the world that's finally catching up. Every challenge endured built another level onto your inner fortress. Each covert move against you became a lesson in clarity. Each hidden agenda sharpened your perception. Letdowns were invitations to open your heart wider, and deceit only honed your instinct for truth. The sum of these lessons isn't just survival. It's a portfolio of strength that now positions you for opportunities beyond ordinary imagining. What's emerging through you now can't be intercepted by those fixated on undermining your growth. You're leaving the realm of reaction, entering an era of creation. The blueprint for your gifts was never up for grabs. No hand can snatch what was woven into the fabric of your being. Attempts to siphon your essence only confirmed that what's real can't be duplicated. Their strategies exposed your unbreakable framework. Their campaigns revealed the depth of your anchoring. Where they plotted to undo your standing, they only revealed its immovability. Every accusation, every attack, every misrepresentation is now being counted as evidence, cataloged in the unfolding justice that is reclaiming balance. demanding to understand your strength. They now bear the trials that built it. Convinced they could inherit your victories, they are now burdened by the costs they never anticipated. They wanted your seat at the table but never learned to cook. This reversal is more than poetic. It serves to illuminate, instruct, and liberate, all at once. The proof of who you are is displayed before every witness. Those who once doubted your calling now see the credentials forged in adversity. Those who joined the chorus against you are now observers of your exoneration. The stage has shifted. You're no longer on defense, but in command of your own narrative. As their machinations falter under their own weight, your presence is untouchable. No longer do you need to exhaust your reserves warding off their advances. The storm they stirred now rages around them. Peace finds you as chaos consumes their plans, freeing you to plant seeds instead of merely holding ground. This transition changes everything. For the first time in ages, you can channel your attention toward building what's next, expanding your reach instead of shielding your progress. Energy once spent in constant vigilance is now invested in creation, vision, and innovation. What overflows from you isn't ordinary reward. It's the spark that sets entire landscapes ablaze with new possibility. Inspiration streams through you, igniting shifts across communities, institutions, and entire systems. The obstacles that stood in your way are exposed as launchpads, and the adversaries themselves unwitting contributors to your preparation. Every roadblock became a recalibration, redirecting your steps toward paths of greater fulfillment. The instigator of your hardship is now a footnote in your testimony, proof of how protection works for those marked by destiny. Their story will echo as a lesson to any who consider similar routes of sabotage. In the end, their efforts only illustrate the impossibility of undermining someone whose victories are sealed beyond the reach of ordinary opposition. What was called a fight was always a demonstration, a revealing of truth, not a gamble with outcomes. The shadow tried to mute your radiance, but it only clarified how untouchable your light has always been. Their tactics, designed to weigh you down, now serve as the very forces that propel you upward. Every curse transformed into a stepping stone, every whispered plot into a song of triumph. The resources gathering for your next chapter dwarf anything that has come before, magnifying your reach and amplifying your impact. This moment is a proclamation. The verdict is not pending, it is resolved. What's being restored is done so with completeness, with no corners left unchecked. This is the crescendo of justice, not just for you but for every bystander, every ally, every skeptic. Step boldly forward. The story unfolding now is magnified beyond all expectation. You are not merely a survivor. You are the inheritor, the proof, the original. The celebration waiting for you is the exclamation on a story that could never be rewritten by another's hand. Attempts to copy your signature only confirmed the impossibility of replication. The seed of honor was crafted for you alone, and it's time to claim what was always set apart, waiting for your arrival.